My name is Richard Schaefer. I'm an executive with United Financial Freedom, and it's my pleasure today to have an opportunity to tell you a little bit about our company and to give you a little bit of the details about exactly what the Money Max account is and hopefully what it's going to be able to do to help you and your family to become debt-free years sooner than you thought possible. We're going to start out with a great expression that probably some of you have heard, but it says that every great story has a great beginning, and that is really true with us as well. We may be new to you, but we've actually been in this business for over 20 years now. And we're going to tell you a little bit about how this journey came about for us. Originally, our corporate partners got in the mortgage business in 1997, about the same time that I did, just a year before that. And they started off using mortgages, they thought, as a vehicle to help people be able to restructure debt and, of course, consolidate debts and things of that nature. But what they started noticing just a few years later is that a lot of those same people would come back 2 or 3 years later, right back in the same problem they were in before, and kept just using the equity in their homes like it was an ATM. And they knew that there was a problem there because the road to you know what is paved in good intentions, as they say. And often we get off track and we have a hard time following through. So in 2004, we launched what we now call the Money Max account and what we refer to as financial GPS. And you're going to see exactly why that is in just a moment. And we did a beta test for a year actually in Denver, Colorado with 400 homeowners. We realized that the average homeowner was 18 to 20% ahead of schedule. And we really knew that we were onto something. And so we developed exactly that, the world's first financial GPS. So before we get into the details of how that works, let's take a moment and just step back and talk about what traditional navigational GPS is. Now, it wasn't that long ago, believe it or not, that I remember visiting my grandparents, and my grandpa Schaefer used to have a compass he used to put right on the dashboard of his Ford Crown Victoria. And of course, a compass just gives you basic navigation, right? North, south, east, west. It's not very specific. But over time, there was more and more detail to maps. There was something called Tom's Guide, and then MapQuest. Perhaps some of you remember that. We thought MapQuest was the coolest thing in the world. And it was great, except for one big problem. If you got lost and you didn't have another computer or a printer readily available, you were out of luck and you had to start over, right? But eventually we developed GPS not just for cars, but most of us have it in the palm of our hand with our smartphone. And it really does allow us to have a lot more detailed specifics when it comes to navigation. And we can customize it. Shortest route, fastest route, avoid toll roads, highways, and things of that nature. But why it's so powerful is the ability for it to recalculate based on every changing circumstance. Maybe there's a detour or a car accident, or maybe there is a railroad crossing, or you had to stop and take one of the kids to go to the bathroom or get something to eat. And it constantly recalculates so you knew what your new estimated time of arrival is and how many more miles and minutes that you have left. Now imagine being able to create that exact same concept, but for your finances. Literally GPS for your money. It would help save you time, years off your debts, your debt payment dates. It would help you save money and lots of it, potentially tens or hundreds of thousands of dollars in interest. But it also helps to automate the thinking and the calculations of it. It's one of the reasons that we like GPS, right? We don't really have to think of it much. It just says turn right in 200 feet. What if a system could tell you exactly how much to pay, where and when to the greatest financial benefit? And so that is exactly why we created the Money Max account. In fact, we refer to this section as your financial dashboard, your personal financial dashboard for you and your family's finances. And at the top, you're going to see that there's how many years you have left. Or you could set that to the day, month, and year that you would be totally and completely debt-free. Imagine if you would actually have the ability to know when you'd be debt-free, how that would help you plan for retirement and many other things you want to accomplish in your life. How much debt you have left at any given moment, how much you have the opportunity to save, and how much you've effectively already eliminated interest. But as you look at that little snapshot, you'll see that it gives you the opportunity to know exactly what is the best and highest use of every dollar you have, to the penny, to the day, to the debt, which is one of the reasons why it's so incredibly powerful. So the question is, how exactly would the system work? Well, you're going to continue to pay all the debts you have as you're required to. But let's say that it's able to evaluate that in this particular case, they only have under $300, only $259 of net positive income or discretionary income. Well, it doesn't sound like a lot. And Well, it's not. It's about $8 a day. If you're a husband and wife, maybe that's a little under $4 a day of discretionary income that we use to buy coffee or many other things that we do with it. But now the system can begin evaluating what is going to be the best and highest use of every dollar you have every day you have it till you spend it. In this case, it might recommend to send $196.34 on the 7th to their mortgage, or $19.27 on the 16th to a given credit card, maybe $43.39 on the 24th to their student loan. You see, because we're used to looking at money two-dimensionally, interest rate, payment, which is why you hear about strategies like the avalanche theory, right, which is going to be paying the highest interest rate, or the lowest payment, the snowball theory. And those can actually be somewhat effective. But we're talking about taking this on a completely different level and looking at it three-dimensionally. Now it's not just the balances, it's not just the interest rate, it's not just the payment. It's what type of loan is it? Is it simple interest? Is it compound interest? Is it fully amortized interest? How the interest is calculated, how the finance charges are assessed, and how and when the payments are applied, which is what determines true debt service cost or total interest volume. Our system is a interest eliminating, debt canceling machine, and it has no emotion. It has one focus, which is what is the best and highest use of every dollar we have every day. And in this case, the redirection of small amounts of money precisely sent to the right debts at the right time and the right amounts is going to help this family in this scenario save over $1,100 in interest that they otherwise would have paid to the bank. Now imagine repeating that process over and over again, and it ebbing and flowing with your life circumstance and financial situation, where now that isn't $1,000. It could be tens or hundreds of thousands of dollars that you're actually canceling that you'd otherwise be responsible to pay to the bank. And so obviously at this point, we've had the ability to have tens and tens of thousands of users across America using our system, helping them eliminate not just their mortgages, but all their debts in as little as 7 to 10 years, sometimes even less. And of course, ultimately saving tens or hundreds of thousands of dollars in interest. You see, imagine saving not just 10 or 20% interest. What if you were saving 50 or 60 or 70% or more of all the interest you otherwise would have been scheduled to pay to the bank? But now you can redirect that to pay those debts down in a third of the time and redirect that money to save and accumulate for security for you and your family in the future. At this point now, we have 75,000 plus users around the country. We've got an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau, and we have a 4.9 Trustpilot score, which is pretty extraordinary for those of you that follow it. And we have a user interface that actually tracks the success of all of our clients. Currently, we have just over $2.7 billion in principal dollars that we've helped our clients eliminate using our program, and have just under $10 billion in what we call debt under management, that the system is evaluating how to be able to help the client eliminate as much debt as humanly possible in the quickest period of time. So you might ask yourself some basic questions, right? Well, can I do this myself? Well, if you thought that, you probably wouldn't be here today. The truth is, a lot of things aren't as easy as they seem. And that's the reason that every January 1st, there are two top New Year's resolutions, right? Fitness and finance. Lose weight, get in shape, and that's right, get out of debt and save money. Well, if they were that simple and that easy, well, they wouldn't continue to be the same resolutions every year. But we know it's not that simple, because it's a matter of saying we can do some things on our own. Certainly, we could pay extra money here and there to a given debt, or maybe pay biweekly payments. We could do certain things, but it's a matter of good, better, best, taking what we might have done in the past that helped and now putting that on steroids and creating an opportunity for it to work far more effectively and getting the best mathematical option in a given moment. Remember, a compass, a map, or GPS, being able to actually recalculate. And that is how the system is so powerful. You see, income could change all the time, even if we're salaried. We could get laid off. We get a raise. We could get a tax refund. Inflation is always factoring into our buying power. And on the expense side, there's always going to be unexpected expenses, right? Most of them are unexpected. You need a new roof. You replace the transmission, and the brakes go out. You get one kid braces, the other one needs glasses, right? You replace the washer, and the dryer needs to be replaced. And that's life. So the system is constantly evaluating any change and giving you instantaneously the best option to the penny to the day in terms of leveraging the use of your money. Is it too good to be true? I love this one because we hear it so much, and that's kind of a cute picture. And that's probably because most of us have heard that a lot in our lives, right? If it sounds too good to be true, it normally is. And normally that is the case. But in this situation, we can tell you it's good, it's true, and we can prove it. In fact, we guarantee it because it's math. It's not magic. It's not somebody telling you if you drink this shake, you're going to lose 10 pounds, right? It's literally 1 + 1 is 2. And as a result, we know that we can mathematically guarantee the results on that dashboard. What is the investment or cost? Well, that's going to vary to some degree. We've got 3 platforms primarily. Those that don't own a home or simply just don't have a mortgage, but maybe they have a car loan. Maybe they have a couple of credit cards or a student loan or a personal loan. Our primary platform that's probably used by most of our clients requires that you have a mortgage, but you could have an unlimited amount of debt. And we've literally seen millions of dollars of debt at various times, but you're capped at 3 mortgages. And on the other end of the spectrum, we've got those that's for investors, real estate investors. They could have up to 99 properties, in which case they may save millions of dollars just in interest alone. So it's all predicated on a similar formula of a nominal percentage of how much debt they have, how much interest we can help them save, and how quickly we can hopefully help them get out of debt. But generally speaking, it's not more than the equivalent of maybe a couple of mortgage payments. So imagine forfeiting a couple of mortgage payments to save 50 or 75 or 100 plus mortgage payments and debt payments. Imagine what you could do. And when you own the system, it's only a one-time fee. You don't have a monthly subscription amount. You don't have a yearly renewal. You don't have an upgrade fee when we update the software. And we provide training and onboarding and customer service for life. And we literally guarantee the results of the program for the life of the user and their particular situation. And we also create an opportunity where you have ongoing access to be able to have whatever upgrades, there's tutorial videos. We're really, truly committed to helping our clients put themselves in the best position financially and get out of debt as quickly as they can. And last but not least, is it user-friendly, right? Is it easy to adopt? Well, I can tell you that we've got people as young as 18 using it, and the oldest that I know of just turned 83. So I can tell you that if you have a smartphone, whether we wish we have one or not, if you're able to type in the address to use the GPS on your phone or send a text message to your grandchild, or perhaps maybe send a picture to somebody, if you have social media or you're able to use online banking, you can easily use our program. And it doesn't normally take more than maybe 5 or 10 minutes a week to update the basic prompts to know exactly what you need to do next to maximize the results for you and your family. And so when you actually set up your appointment, you're going to get an analysis just like this. And what's powerful about that, if I go back here for a second, what's very powerful about that is imagine if you could know exactly the day, month, and year you'd be out of debt and how much interest you could potentially save in that process, how powerful that would really, really be. And in order to get that done, you would schedule an appointment with one of our specialists. It's no cost, no obligation appointment, and we don't need anything invasive. We don't need your social security number. We don't need your account numbers, and we're never going to touch your money. But in a pretty quick fashion of time, we could actually run a personalized savings analysis report to show you exactly what the Money Max account can do for you. And we ask you to challenge us, put us to the test and see exactly what it can do for you and your family. And you've got nothing to lose but years and potentially tens, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars in interest for you and your family. Thank you so much for joining us, and we look forward to seeing you on a consultation very soon.